Imagine for a moment a world where your words truly resonated, where every conversation felt deeply meaningful, and where you effortlessly forged connections that lasted a lifetime. In our hyper-connected digital age, ironically, genuine connection often feels more elusive than ever. We're bombarded with notifications, scrolling through endless feeds, and sometimes it feels like true understanding is a lost art. But what if the secret to unlocking those profound relationships, the key to truly winning friends in a way that feels authentic and deeply fulfilling, lies not in what you say, but in how profoundly you listen? Today, we're diving into the timeless wisdom of a master of human relations, Dale Carnegie, to uncover precisely that, the transformative power of deep listening. Stick with us until the very end, because the insights we're about to share aren't just theoretical. They're practical, life-changing advice that could fundamentally reshape your interactions, both online and offline. You won't want to miss how these principles can elevate every single one of your relationships, allowing you to connect on a level you might not have thought possible. And while you're here, if you find value in rediscovering these powerful human truths, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to join our growing community dedicated to more meaningful connections. In the relentless, often overwhelming current of modern life, where a multitude of screens constantly vie for our dwindling attention and an incessant stream of notifications perpetually threatens to derail our focus, the seemingly simple act of listening has paradoxically become a rare and precious commodity. Yet it is precisely within this scarcity that its immense and transformative power truly resides. Consider for a moment the profound psychological impact when someone genuinely turns their full, unwavering attention toward you, not just hearing your words, but truly absorbing them, reflecting on them, and demonstrating a clear understanding of their meaning. When we commit to offering our mindful, undivided attention to another individual, we are not merely passively receiving a stream of words or disjointed phrases. We are actively engaging in a profound act of validation. We are affirming their very existence, unequivocally acknowledging their inherent worth, and demonstrating a profound, unequivocal respect for their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This deliberate and complete dedication, this intentional focus on the other person, meticulously cultivates an atmosphere of deep trust and genuine openness. These elements, trust and openness, are not merely desirable, but absolutely essential for the cultivation of any genuine, lasting relationship. This conscious act of listening has the remarkable capacity to transform what might otherwise be a fleeting, casual interaction into a moment of profound, authentic connection, imbuing it with significant meaning and lasting impact. It signals to the speaker that their voice matters, that their narrative is important, and that they are truly seen and heard, fostering a bond that extends far beyond the exchange of mere information. Think of the countless times you've been in a conversation where the other person was clearly distracted, glancing at their phone, looking over your shoulder, or formulating their next sentence while you were still speaking. How did that make you feel? Most likely unheard, undervalued, and perhaps even disrespected. Now contrast that with an experience where someone leaned in, maintained eye contact, nodded thoughtfully, and genuinely seemed to absorb every word. The difference is palpable. This mindful attention communicates respect on a foundational level. It tells the speaker, "You are important. Your thoughts matter. I value what you have to say." This acknowledgement is a powerful human need. We all crave to be seen, to be understood, to be recognized. When we fulfill this need for another person through our focused listening, we tap into a fundamental aspect of human psychology that builds rapport and connection almost instantaneously. It's not about agreeing with everything they say. It's about acknowledging their right to say it and giving their perspective the space it deserves. Furthermore, this deliberate act of attention can often de-escalate tension, build bridges over disagreements, and create a safe space for vulnerability. In a world full of noise, being truly heard is a form of sanctuary. It allows people to feel secure enough to open up, to share deeper truths, and to expose their authentic selves, knowing they will be met with understanding rather than judgment. This profound level of psychological safety is what transforms acquaintances into friends and colleagues into trusted allies. The power of mindful attention isn't just about improving individual conversations. It's about fostering a culture of understanding and respect that permeates all our relationships, making them richer, more resilient, and ultimately more fulfilling. The true art of listening extends far, far beyond the mere mechanical processing of phonemes or the recognition of spoken language. It is a comprehensive and intricate endeavor that involves grasping the very essence of what the other person is communicating, delving beneath the surface of their verbal expressions. This means actively discerning the emotions that subtly or overtly underpin their chosen words, intuiting the unarticulated feelings that often lie just beneath the surface of their conscious thought. Crucially, it involves perceiving and interpreting the rich tapestry of nonverbal language, which, more often than not, reveals a far greater depth and complexity of meaning than any carefully constructed sentence ever could. A spontaneous gesture, a fleeting but telling glance, an unconscious shift in posture, a subtle but distinct alteration in vocal tone. All these seemingly minor elements are integral components of a much broader, more profound message. We must diligently learn to decode this multifaceted message, becoming adept at reading between the lines and observing beyond the obvious. By honing this vital skill, we gain an unparalleled insight into the inner world of the other person, gradually unveiling their deepest concerns, their most cherished joys, their underlying fears, and their most ardent aspirations. This profound level of understanding then empowers us to respond in a manner that is not only much more empathetic and compassionate, but also far more pertinent and truly resonant with their actual needs and experiences, fostering a deeper, more meaningful connection. Consider the vast ocean of human communication, where spoken words are merely the tip of the iceberg. Below the surface lies an immense, often unconscious realm of nonverbal cues. A speaker might say, "I'm fine," but their slumped shoulders, downcast eyes, and hesitant tone might scream a different story. "I'm exhausted and deeply troubled." A truly effective listener doesn't just register the words "I'm fine." They notice the discrepancy, the subtle dissonance between the verbal and the nonverbal. This awareness allows them to gently probe further, perhaps by saying, "You say you're fine, but you seem a little down. Is everything okay?" This demonstrates a level of perceptiveness and care that goes beyond polite acknowledgement. It shows you're truly seeing them. Moreover, understanding nonverbal cues is essential for avoiding misinterpretations. In many cultures, direct eye contact signifies honesty and engagement, while in others it might be seen as confrontational. A fidgeting hand might indicate nervousness, impatience, or simply a habitual mannerism. The skilled listener doesn't jump to conclusions but observes patterns, contexts, and inconsistencies. They use these observations to inform their understanding and to tailor their responses, ensuring that their communication is sensitive and appropriate. This deep dive into nonverbal communication requires keen observation, a developed sense of empathy, and a willingness to interpret rather than simply react. It's about tuning into the complete human being in front of you, not just the words they articulate. When you master this, you unlock a powerful channel of understanding, allowing you to connect with people on a level that bypasses superficial conversation and delves into the true landscape of their emotions and experiences. It's about becoming a truly astute reader of human nature, making your interactions far more rich and meaningful. When we commit ourselves to listening with the singular intention of truly understanding, rather than merely formulating our next response, we metaphorically transform into a reflective mirror that precisely mirrors the experience of the other individual. This profound act of mirroring does not imply that we must necessarily agree with every single sentiment or opinion being expressed. Rather, it signifies a dedicated and earnest endeavor to perceive the world with all its complexities and nuances from their unique vantage point. It is an active and conscious effort to step into their shoes, to see through their eyes, and to feel, to some extent, what they might be feeling. By engaging in this profound practice, we effectively dismantle psychological barriers, erode pre-existing biases, and open wide the doors to a more fluid, more honest, and ultimately more productive form of communication. This is not a passive reception of information. It is an active exercise in empathy, a dynamic process that enables us to construct robust bridges of mutual understanding, even in instances where our personal opinions or perspectives may diverge significantly. It allows us to acknowledge and respect their reality, even if it differs from our own, fostering a space of acceptance and genuine connection that transcends mere agreement. The concept of the reflective mirror in listening is a cornerstone of true empathic communication. Imagine holding up a mirror to someone's words and feelings, not to judge them, but simply to reflect them back with clarity and precision. This technique is often referred to as active listening, where you summarize, paraphrase, or reflect back what you've heard, ensuring accuracy and demonstrating your engagement. For example, if someone says, "I'm so frustrated with my boss. He keeps piling on work and doesn't seem to care about my workload," a reflective listener might respond, "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed and unappreciated by your boss's demands." This simple act of reflection does several powerful things. First, it confirms to the speaker that they have been heard accurately, which is deeply validating. Second, it gives the speaker an opportunity to correct any misunderstandings or to elaborate further, clarifying their thoughts. Third, and perhaps most importantly, it communicates empathy. By demonstrating that you understand their emotional state and the core of their message, you create a sense of psychological safety. This safety allows them to feel truly seen and understood, which is a powerful catalyst for deeper connection and trust. Moreover, acting as a reflective mirror helps the listener avoid the common pitfalls of premature advice-giving or judgmental responses. Instead of immediately offering solutions or criticisms, the reflective listener prioritizes understanding. This patient approach prevents misunderstandings that arise from jumping to conclusions and encourages a more open, less defensive dialogue. When people feel understood, they are more likely to be receptive to different perspectives or even to consider solutions on their own. This empathetic mirroring also cultivates intellectual humility. It forces us to put aside our own preconceived notions, our own experiences, and our own immediate reactions to truly immerse ourselves in the speaker's frame of reference. This practice of stepping outside our own subjective bubble is transformative, not just for the conversation at hand, but for our overall capacity for empathy in all areas of life. It's a foundational skill for building bridges, resolving conflicts, and fostering a deep sense of connection, even across significant differences in opinion or experience. The reflective mirror is a testament to the idea that understanding precedes judgment, and that genuine connection is built on a foundation of shared understanding. Paradoxically, In the vibrant symphony of human conversation, silence can often prove to be the most potent and impactful tool at the disposal of a discerning listener. We are not referring here to an awkward or uncomfortable silence, the kind that fills a room with tension and prompts a desperate search for words. Instead, we speak of a deliberate, reflective silence, a thoughtful pause that gracefully grants the speaker the necessary space and time to fully articulate their thoughts, to carefully explore the labyrinthine contours of their feelings, and to express themselves without the immediate pressure or anxiety of being interrupted. This intentional space for pause, this moment of unhurried calm, is a profound demonstration of both patience and profound respect. It acts as an unspoken invitation, gently encouraging the other person to delve more deeply into their narrative, to unfurl additional layers of their experience, and to share aspects of themselves that might otherwise remain carefully guarded or entirely unrevealed. It is often within these moments of deliberate tranquility, these interludes of quiet contemplation, that the most significant revelations tend to emerge, fostering a deeper sense of mutual trust and fortifying the bonds of connection between individuals, transforming a simple exchange into a moment of true intimacy. In a society increasingly uncomfortable with silence, learning to embrace it as a communicative tool is revolutionary. Think about the common tendency to fill every conversational void, to jump in with a comment, a question, or an anecdote the moment the other person pauses. This often signals to the speaker that their thoughts are less important than the flow of conversation, or that they need to hurry up and finish their point. Reflective silence, in contrast, is an act of generosity. It communicates, "Take your time. I am here. I am truly listening, and I want to hear everything you have to say." This patient waiting provides several critical benefits. Firstly, it allows the speaker to gather their thoughts, to formulate their ideas more clearly, and to access deeper levels of self-reflection. Often, people discover what they truly want to say only in the quiet moments between words. Secondly, it creates a safe psychological space. When there's no pressure to perform or rush, individuals feel more comfortable being vulnerable and sharing sensitive information. This can lead to revelations that might otherwise remain unspoken, as the speaker feels truly invited to explore their inner landscape. Moreover, the quality of your silence matters. It should be an attentive, engaged silence, not a blank stare or a distracted gaze. Your body language should still convey active listening, eye contact where culturally appropriate, an open posture, and subtle nods. This engaged silence reassures the speaker that you are still present and interested, even though you are not speaking. This intentional pause can also be strategically used by the listener to process information. Instead of immediately formulating a response, you can use the silent moment to reflect on what has been said, to identify key themes, or to connect it to previous statements. This internal processing leads to more thoughtful, relevant responses. When you do eventually speak, ultimately, the magic of reflective silence lies in its ability to deepen intimacy and trust. It's a non-verbal declaration of profound respect, signaling that the speaker's thoughts and feelings are so valuable that they warrant unhurried attention. In a world of constant chatter, the gift of quiet, engaged listening is a powerful differentiator, transforming superficial interactions into moments of genuine and profound connection. A truly adept listener does not merely passively absorb incoming information. They possess the nuanced skill of strategically guiding the conversation with intelligent and impeccably timed questions. These aren't questions designed to interrogate, to judge, or to cross-examine. Instead, their fundamental purpose is to gently encourage a more thorough and expansive exploration of the speaker's thoughts, their underlying emotions, and the multifaceted nuances of their experiences. They are not interruptions, but rather deliberate invitations to deepen the discourse, to clarify ambiguities, and to expand upon initial statements. Each well-placed question serves as a palpable demonstration of genuine interest in the person themselves and in the intrinsic value of what they are attempting to convey. This active engagement, this intellectual curiosity expressed through thoughtful inquiry, reciprocally stimulates a communication that is not only richer and more profound, but also inherently more bidirectional. It transforms a monologue into a genuine dialogue, where both parties are actively contributing to the understanding and growth of the conversation, fostering a sense of shared discovery and mutual respect. The power of a well-crafted question lies in its ability to open doors rather than close them. Unlike yes-no questions that limit the scope of a response, insightful questions are typically open-ended, inviting elaboration, reflection, and deeper thought. For example, instead of asking, "Were you upset?" a more insightful question might be, "How did that situation make you feel, and what were your thoughts about it afterward?" This encourages the speaker to explore their emotional landscape and intellectual processing, providing a richer, more detailed response. The goal of an insightful question is to demonstrate that you are not just hearing words, but genuinely trying to understand the full context and emotional weight behind them. It shows you are actively engaged in processing the information and seeking clarity, rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. Furthermore, insightful questions can help to unpack complex issues or to get to the root of a problem. If someone is expressing frustration about a project, an insightful question might be, "What aspects of the project are feeling most challenging for you right now, and what resources do you think would help alleviate that?" This moves beyond superficial complaints and delves into specific pain points, paving the way for solutions. The timing of such questions is also crucial. An insightful question posed too early might feel like an interruption, while one asked too late might miss its moment. The skilled listener senses when the speaker is ready to elaborate, when there's a natural pause, or when a particular point needs further exploration. Moreover, the tone of your questions matters immensely. They should be delivered with genuine curiosity and empathy, never with a hint of judgment or accusation. A question like, "Why did you do that?" can sound accusatory, while "What was your thinking behind that decision?" invites explanation and understanding. By mastering the art of the insightful question, you transform yourself from a passive recipient of information into an active facilitator of understanding and deeper connection. You empower the speaker to articulate their thoughts more fully, often gaining new insights themselves in the process, and you strengthen the bond by demonstrating your authentic interest and intellectual engagement. It's a cornerstone of truly meaningful dialogue and an essential tool for building strong relationships. In the intricate dance of human interaction, interrupting someone while they are speaking stands out as one of the swiftest and most unequivocal ways to communicate. A distinct lack of interest and an implicit disregard for their perspective. Every single interruption, no matter how brief or seemingly innocuous, sends a potent and often subconscious message that whatever we, the interrupter, have to say is inherently more important, more urgent, or more valuable than the thoughts and feelings the other person is currently attempting to express. This seemingly minor act can effectively halt the flow of their narrative, invalidate their contribution, and often lead to feelings of frustration or disrespect. Therefore, practicing the discipline of contention, consciously holding back our own thoughts and responses, allowing the other individual to fully articulate and complete their idea before we choose to intervene, is not merely an act of courtesy. It is a profound demonstration of self-control, patience, and deep consideration. This conscious practice significantly elevates the overall quality of any dialogue, cultivating an environment characterized by mutual respect and genuine, active listening, thereby strengthening the foundation of the relationship. The impulse to interrupt is a very human one. Our minds are active, constantly processing information, generating ideas and formulating responses. When someone speaks, our internal monologue often kicks in, racing to find connections, offer advice, or share our own related experiences. However, succumbing to this impulse is detrimental to effective listening and relationship building. When you interrupt, you are essentially telling the speaker, "My thoughts are more important than yours right now." This is disempowering for the speaker and can make them feel unheard, rushed, or even silenced. They may lose their train of thought, become defensive, or simply shut down, unwilling to share further. The conversation then becomes less about genuine exchange and more about two people taking turns to speak, with neither truly absorbing the other's message. Practicing the discipline of contention requires conscious effort and self-awareness. It means recognizing that internal impulse to jump in and deliberately choosing to suppress it. This is not about being passive, it's about being strategically patient. Allow the speaker to finish their sentence, their paragraph, and even their entire thought before you even begin to formulate your reply. This patience communicates respect and creates a safe space for the speaker to fully express themselves. It allows them to feel that their voice is valued and that their perspective is given full consideration. Moreover, by delaying your response, you give yourself valuable time to fully process what's been said. You can absorb the nuances, consider the emotional context, and formulate a more thoughtful, relevant, and empathetic reply. This prevents misunderstandings that often arise from rushed judgments or incomplete information. It also prevents you from inadvertently stealing the speaker's thunder or hijacking their narrative to make it about yourself. Dale Carnegie often emphasized the importance of making the other person feel important, allowing them to speak without interruption is a fundamental way to achieve this. It shows that you value their contribution, respect their right to express themselves, and are genuinely invested in understanding their message, thereby building stronger, more trusting relationships. The act of remembering specific details that another person has shared with us during a conversation is an extraordinarily powerful and tangible demonstration that we were, in fact, genuinely listening and truly engaged. These aren't necessarily grand or pivotal revelations. Often, it's the seemingly small personal details that make the most significant impact. Perhaps it's a mention of their beloved pet's name, a fleeting reference to a recent hobby they've taken up, a specific detail about a significant family event, or a particular professional challenge they are navigating. The ability to recall these seemingly minor points and organically weave them back into future conversations serves multiple vital purposes. Firstly, this act of remembrance unequivocally validates the other person. It communicates that their narrative was not merely heard but genuinely registered and valued. Secondly, it powerfully reinforces the connection between individuals, demonstrating that our attention was not transient or superficial, but rather a sincere and committed engagement with their story and their experience. It shows that we care enough to retain their unique information, fostering a deeper sense of being seen, understood, and truly appreciated, thus strengthening the bond. Think about the sheer delight and surprise you feel when someone you haven't seen in a while remembers a specific detail you once shared with them. Perhaps your favorite coffee order, a challenging project you mentioned, or a particular family anecdote. It's a powerful affirmation. It tells you, you matter. What you said was important enough for me to remember. This sense of being truly seen and remembered is deeply fulfilling. It signals genuine care and investment in the relationship, far beyond superficial politeness. Conversely, how do you feel when someone repeatedly forgets details you've shared, forcing you to recount them or worse, implying they weren't listening at all. It can feel dismissive, as if your words simply evaporate into the air. Remembering details is a practical application of active listening. It's not just about being present in the moment, but about integrating what you hear into your understanding of the person. This involves a conscious effort to store these nuggets of information, perhaps by mentally categorizing them or even making brief, discrete notes if appropriate, e.g., in a professional setting. When you recall and reference these details in subsequent interactions, you create a sense of continuity and depth in the relationship. For instance, if a colleague mentioned struggling with a particular software, later asking, "How did you manage with that software issue last week?" not only shows you remembered, but also demonstrates your ongoing concern for their well-being and success. This fosters trust and makes people feel comfortable sharing more with you in the future. It transforms interactions from discrete, isolated events into a continuous, evolving narrative of connection. This act of remembering is a form of respect, demonstrating that you value their contributions, their experiences, and their individuality. It's a cornerstone of building rapport, cultivating loyalty, and transforming fleeting acquaintances into meaningful, lasting connections, ultimately making you a more influential and cherished individual in any social or professional circle. In the sprawling and ever-evolving landscape of the digital world, the fundamental act of listening acquires new and distinct forms, extending far beyond the traditional parameters of face-to-face conversations. It encompasses a more expansive and multifaceted engagement, requiring us to pay meticulous attention to a broad spectrum of digital cues. This includes carefully reading and interpreting comments shared on social media platforms, diligently processing the myriad messages exchanged through various communication channels, and acutely discerning the often subtle and easily missed signals embedded within online interactions. This intricate form of digital listening necessitates a heightened level of awareness. It implies reading with thoughtful attention, resisting the urge to skim or rush, and committing to responding in a considered and empathetic manner rather than impulsively reacting. Crucially, it demands the discipline to avoid hasty interpretations or jumping to premature conclusions based solely on text, which often lacks the rich contextual cues of in-person dialogue. The virtues of patience and empathy are just as paramount in a rapid-fire chat window or a lengthy email thread as they are in a traditional living room conversation. This is because digital communication, despite its inherent immediacy and often fragmented nature, still unequivocally requires a conscious, deliberate effort to truly understand the person behind the screen, fostering genuine connection even across virtual divides. The digital age, while connecting us globally, paradoxically introduces new challenges to genuine listening. Without the benefit of eye contact, body language, and vocal tone, the risk of misinterpretation skyrockets. A sarcastic comment can be read as serious, a casual remark as an insult, and a brief message as dismissiveness. Therefore, digital listening demands an even greater degree of intention and critical analysis. When reading an email, a text message, or a social media post, resist the urge to skim for keywords. Instead, take the time to read the entire message, considering its full context. Pay attention to punctuation, capitalization, which can sometimes imply shouting, and the use of emojis, which often convey emotional tone where words alone cannot. If something seems unclear, rather than making an assumption, practice the art of digital clarification. Ask for more information, paraphrase what you think you've understood, or suggest a brief call if the complexity warrants it. For example, responding with, "Just to make sure I'm clear, are you suggesting X or Y?" can prevent a host of misunderstandings. Moreover, true digital listening extends to observing patterns in online behavior. Is someone consistently posting negative comments? Are they unusually silent? Are their messages becoming shorter or more abrupt? These subtle shifts can be digital equivalents of non-verbal cues, signaling changes in mood, workload, or general well-being. A truly empathetic digital listener will notice these changes and, if appropriate, reach out privately to check in. For public platforms, thoughtful and empathetic responses are crucial. Instead of engaging in quick retorts or judgmental comments, take a moment to consider the perspective of the original poster. Even if you disagree, aim to respond in a way that fosters dialogue and understanding rather than escalating conflict. This might mean acknowledging their feelings before stating your own opinion, or asking a clarifying question rather than issuing a blanket dismissal. In essence, digital listening is about bringing the same level of respect, patience, and empathetic inquiry to our screens that we would bring to a face-to-face conversation. It's about remembering that behind every avatar, every username, and every string of text, there is a human being with thoughts, feelings, and a desire to be understood. Mastering digital listening is not just about communication efficiency. It's about building and maintaining meaningful relationships in the virtual spaces where an increasing amount of our lives unfold. The profound art of listening is by no means a one-way street. It operates on a fundamental principle of reciprocity, where the act of giving inevitably leads to receiving. When we consistently and intentionally listen to others with genuine attention, empathy, and a sincere desire to understand, it dramatically increases the likelihood that they will, in turn, extend the very same level of consideration and attentiveness back to us. This creates a powerful and self-sustaining virtuous cycle of mutual respect and profound understanding, where both individuals in the interaction feel genuinely valued, truly heard, and deeply acknowledged. In such an environment, communication flourishes, trust deepens, and relationships strengthen. This inherent reciprocity is not merely a beneficial outcome, but stands as the very cornerstone of any healthy, thriving, and enduring relationship, whether it manifests in personal connections, professional collaborations, or community engagements. It acts as the invisible scaffolding upon which a rich and intricate tapestry of authentic and deeply gratifying connections is meticulously woven, ensuring that the exchange of ideas and emotions is balanced and mutually enriching. Think of human interaction as a mirror. If you approach others with an open, receptive stance, genuinely interested in their perspective, they are far more likely to reflect that same openness back to you. Conversely, if you are distracted, self-absorbed, or constantly interrupting, you tend to elicit similar behaviors from those you interact with. This principle of reciprocity is a fundamental aspect of human psychology. We naturally tend to treat others as they treat us. When you make a conscious effort to listen attentively, you are, in effect, setting a standard for the interaction. You are non-verbally communicating, "This is how I engage. This is the level of respect I offer." People pick up on this cue, often unconsciously, and respond in kind. This means that by becoming a better listener, you are not only improving your own communication skills, but also subtly influencing others to become better communicators themselves when interacting with you. This virtuous cycle has profound implications for relationship building. In personal relationships, when both partners actively listen to each other, conflicts are more easily resolved, empathy deepens, and the bond strengthens. Each person feels understood and valued, leading to greater intimacy and trust. In professional settings, a manager who genuinely listens to their team members fosters a culture of open communication, psychological safety, and innovation. Team members feel comfortable sharing ideas, voicing concerns, and offering feedback, knowing they will be heard. This leads to higher morale, better problem-solving, and increased productivity. Similarly, a salesperson who truly listens to a client's needs and concerns, rather than just pushing a product, builds trust and rapport, leading to stronger, long-term client relationships. The reciprocity of listening is not just about getting what you give. It's about creating an environment where genuine connection can thrive. It transforms isolated individuals into a collaborative unit, where understanding is prioritized and mutual respect forms the bedrock of all interactions. By initiating this cycle, you become a catalyst for more meaningful and effective communication in every aspect of your life, proving that the deepest connections are always a two-way street, paved with mutual attention and respect. The enduring and timeless philosophy championed by Dale Carnegie, as eloquently articulated in his seminal works, profoundly teaches us that the most reliable and impactful path to true success in the intricate realm of human relations is not, and primarily found in mastering the art of persuasive speaking or compelling argumentation. Instead, it lies in the meticulous and diligent perfection of the often underestimated art of listening. It is fundamentally through the practice of attentive and profoundly empathetic listening that we are genuinely able to understand others at a deeper, more meaningful level. This profound understanding then becomes the bedrock upon which we can consciously build robust bonds of trust, fostering a sense of psychological safety and openness. Furthermore, it is through this same lens of active listening that we are empowered to forge enduring and truly meaningful friendships, connections that transcend superficiality and stand the test of time. In an increasingly noisy, fragmented, and often chaotic world, where competing voices clamor for attention, the unique and invaluable capacity to offer a truly attentive and receptive ear emerges as a veritable superpower. It is an extraordinary skill, a profound ability that allows us to transcend the shallow waters of superficial interaction and instead establish connections that genuinely nourish the soul, enriching not only the lives of those we engage with, but also our own existence in profound ways. Dale Carnegie's most famous work, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is often misconstrued as a manual for manipulation or superficial charm. However, a deeper reading reveals that its core tenets are rooted in genuine human connection, empathy, and making others feel genuinely important. And at the heart of making someone feel important is the act of listening. Carnegie dedicated entire chapters to the importance of listening, emphasizing that demonstrating sincere interest in others is paramount to building rapport. He recognized that people are inherently self-interested. They are most captivated by their own stories, their own challenges, and their own aspirations. A truly masterful communicator, Carnegie argued, understands this fundamental truth and leverages it not for selfish gain, but to connect with others on a profoundly human level. By allowing others to talk about themselves, about their experiences, and about what truly matters to them, you are fulfilling a deep-seated human need for self-expression and validation. Carnegie's timeless insights extend beyond personal interactions to professional success. He understood that effective leaders, influential salespeople, and harmonious teams are built on foundations of mutual understanding cultivated through active listening. A leader who truly listens to their employees will understand their concerns, motivations, and innovative ideas, leading to better decision-making and higher morale. A salesperson who actively listens to a client's needs, rather than just presenting a canned pitch, can tailor solutions that genuinely meet those needs, building trust and loyalty. Carnegie's teachings on listening are not about passive absorption. They're about active engagement, asking relevant questions, encouraging elaboration, and genuinely remembering what is said. His legacy reminds us that in a world where everyone is eager to be heard, the person who genuinely listens becomes a rare and invaluable asset. It's a quiet power, a subtle influence, but one that lays the groundwork for all successful human endeavors, from personal friendships to large-scale business ventures. The ability to truly connect, to bridge gaps of understanding, and to build lasting relationships is the ultimate testament to the enduring power of Dale Carnegie's principles on the art of listening. You've journeyed with us today through the profound insights of Dale Carnegie, exploring how the simple yet powerful act of listening can revolutionize your connections in this digital world. We've seen that it's not just about hearing words, but about truly understanding the heart and mind behind them, fostering trust, dispelling misunderstandings, and building bonds that stand the test of time. Remember, in a world full of noise, an attentive ear is a rare and precious gift you can offer. This isn't just about winning friends, it's about enriching your entire life by connecting with others on a deeper, more meaningful level. So take these principles and apply them daily. Be present, be empathetic, and give others the invaluable gift of truly being heard. If this exploration has resonated with you and you're ready to transform your relationships, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insights into building a life rich with genuine connections. What's one step you'll take today to become a more mindful listener?